Sorry, but if you had a PC and a CD-ROM drive in the mid-90s, you may be just as nostalgic about that opening title as I am. Hello everyone, thanks for watching Games We Play. We are going to take a quick tour through the story of Myst.
I realized the moment I fell into the fissure that the book would not be destroyed as I had planned. It continued falling into that starry expanse of which I had only a fleeting glimpse. I've tried to speculate where it might have landed, but I must admit that such conjecture is futile. Still, questions about whose hands might one day hold my Myst book are unsettling to me. I know my apprehensions might never be allayed, and so I close, realizing that perhaps the ending has not yet been written.
And here it is, the book that changed an industry. And I don't know if Achenar would be glad or horrified to learn that 13 million people wound up holding this book. I know who's not horrified to hear that, though. Rand and Robin Miller. They are the two brothers who conceived of this world, who brought it to life with their labors. So much ground was broken on this one game. It normalized physical distribution on CDs, compression techniques for still images, QuickTime compression for full motion video, difference mapping for realistic looking terrain. It was and still is a phenomenally important game, and I love it intensely. We are playing realMyst Masterpiece Edition. As you can see, there are a couple new things about the game. We're going to play using classic movement to keep the experience as authentic as possible. And we're off. Rule number 1 for exploring Myst. If you see something, mess with it. Press buttons, throw levers with reckless abandon. Myst has apparently never seen a machine that might fail with misuse or neglect, so go nuts. These devices are called marker switches. Right now we just want to make sure all the ones we can get to are in the on position. When you follow this path around the corner, grab this wrinkled note up off the ground. This note is important for two reasons. One, it's our first indication that there might be anybody else on the island, and two, it lets us know that the number of marker switches on the island is going to be important later. Speaking of which, marker switch number 3 is here outside the planetarium. Go ahead and turn it on, but we don't need to go inside just yet. Around the library to the right, you can find this spaceship with marker switch number 4 sitting outside. This area outside the library is called the Pillar Garden. Marker switch number 5 is located beside the basin. We can see marker switch 6 up ahead next to the generator room. Marker switch 7 is beside this log cabin. And although we can't reach the clock tower yet, we can see marker switch 8 sitting outside. Now that our first tour of the island is complete, let's go to the forechamber beside the dock mentioned in the note we found earlier. This door was just outside our field of vision when the game began, but when approaching it from this direction it's pretty hard to miss. The forechamber consists solely of this device, called the Dimensional Imager, and its control panel, which is just behind us to the right. There's a couple of different settings we can play with, but that message sounded pretty important. Enter the number of marker switches into the control panel, then press the orange button to confirm. Pressing the button on the front of the Dimensional Imager will play the message.
Catherine, my love, I have to leave quickly. Something terrible has happened. It's hard for me to believe. Most of my books have been destroyed. Catherine is one of our sons. I suspect Achenar, but I shouldn't leap to conclusions. I'll find him and Sirrus as well. Oh, I should have known better than to have left my library unchecked for so long. Well, I've removed the remaining undamaged books from the library and placed them in their places of protection. You shouldn't have to use the books until I return, but if you've forgotten the access keys, remember the tower rotation. Oh, and don't worry, Catherine. Everything will be fine. I'll see you shortly. Oh, and erase this message after you've viewed it, just to be safe.
Alright, at this point we're at least familiar with all of the important characters of the story. Achenar, his wife Catherine, and their two sons, Sirrus and Achenar. This means it's time to go about the job of unlocking and exploring the different ages of Myst. First, we'll need to go to the library. The bookshelf ahead of us contains a variety of Achenar's personal journals, each one describing one of the ages he's written. We'll grab the first book on the shelf that isn't all burninated and take a look at it. The book describes an age with water as far as the eye can see, and a village built within the canopy of its huge trees. It's a pretty neat story, but the only really important part is this map in the back. Now that we know a little bit about Channelwood, let's go looking for it. One of the diagrams on the library wall is labeled Tower Rotation, which Achenar told us would be important for finding the books. If you touch the diagram, you'll see this line sweep across the island. This is the tower's line of sight. Rotate the tower until it snaps to the forest. The path to the tower is hidden behind this bookcase. Notice the painting on the left depicts a hallway where the bookcase should be. Touch the painting and the path opens. Make your way down the hall and into the elevator. You won't be able to ride the lift until you close the door. Safety first, everyone. In the 1993 release of the game, climbing the ladder in front of you would allow you to see where the linking book was hidden. Walk around the tower to the right, and you'll find another ladder. Up here we'll find information vital to unlocking the book we want. In this case, the numbers 7, 2, 4. Let's pretend the tower showed us where that information would be important, and head to the forest to see if we can make sense of it. When you return to the library, you'll need to inspect the painting of the open door to close the secret passage and return outside. The most noticeable structure in the forest is the log cabin we saw earlier beside marker switch number 7. Open the door and step inside. In front of you there's what appears to be a boiler, along with a valve on the wall. If you turn around, you can see a safe beside the door. Input the code we got earlier, 724. Turn the handle, et voila! A box of matches. Pick up a match and swipe it against the side of the box to light it, then quickly turn around and light the pilot on the boiler. Turn the valve clockwise to feed gas to the boiler, and pressure will start to build up. When the pressure stops climbing, shut the valve off and quickly run outside and to the left. The pressure was lifting this huge cylinder disguised as a tree. As the pressure is released, we have an opportunity to hop into this lift and ride it down to the book's place of protection. At last, the Channelwood age is within our grasp. Each linking book will show you a glimpse of the world which it links to. If you watch closely, the book will show you locations that will be vital to your adventure. This set of stairs and the generator beside it, the village concealed in the treetops, these two broken walkways, the concealed third level of the village is briefly seen here, and the windmill, which is the beating heart of Channelwood. The first thing we want to do in Channelwood is follow these pipes back to the windmill. The windmill draws water up from the surrounding area and stores it in the cistern seen here. By opening this valve, we can start supplying power to all the devices of Channelwood. At every intersection, you can manipulate which way the water flows by interacting with these valves. This first one's already set correctly, so we're going to leave it alone for now. Here, direct the flow right by swinging the handle on the valve to the left. Do the same here as well. And one last time to the right. You'll know everything's been set up correctly if you can hear this generator as you approach the lift. That's it for this episode. If you enjoyed it, don't forget to subscribe. We'll see you next week. And we'll see what's at the top of this elevator. Maybe it's snacks. I hope it's snacks.